And a good Tuesday morning. Welcome in Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Hope you're trying to stay warm. It's like 9 degrees outside. Very, very cold. The snow is still there, obviously. It's not going anywhere for the next few days. But we're here to have some fun and entertain you. JoJo, what's up?
Have you left the house yet? Tell me you left the house.
Walked outside.
Dr. Crane's in. Nick Keyser, I'm here. We're on the studio today, so we're missing you, man, and wishing you well at your palatial mountaintop estate in Bellevue.
Yes. I'm just looking down and wondering how I'm ever going to get out. But
don't you have workers that could drive you in? I mean, you're the boss, man. Don't you have people who can do this?
No. They took the week off.
Okay.
So,
Just make some snow cream for us, Chase. That's all I ask.
No, I'll do that. I can
Some
do
what?
that.
Snow cream.
What is that?
You know, you make like ice cream snow. You ever heard of that?
You never had snow
No,
cream?
I don't know. I've never heard of snow cream.
Joe,
Really? You're
Never.
from the South.
Never.
all you get some evaporated milk, you chill it, then you put a little sugar in there, and then you put a bowl with a bunch of snow in it,
Okay.
and you mix it around and you eat it.
No. I have too many dogs in my neighborhood. I'm not eating.
Don't go for the yellow snow, Joe.
No, pass. Okay. I learned something new every day. Thank you for that. I had no idea. All right. Well, good.
Snow cream's great. I'm shocked. You being from the South, you don't know about snow
I'm
cream.
from parts unknown, Chase.
Joe, Nick's bonus mom makes it, is what he said.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Kaiser's bonus mom is one of the best people on planet Earth, so I'll have to try out.
Hang on. Bonus mom?
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, like a bonus dad. It's better than like stepmom, stepdad.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no idea what this even means.
So you've heard what a bonus mom and bonus dad, right? You've heard of
No.
that. You have
No.
never heard of that? Oh, look at
No.
We're educating the people of Middle Tennessee today.
That's
in
what
Southern
I'm saying.
Kentucky.
I have never heard that before.
It just sounds, like it's my stepdad, my stepmom. It sounds so good to say, hey, that's my bonus dad, because it's like part of your family now, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. It just stepdads just always get that, negative connotation, or stepmom. It's always kind of a negative connotation a little bit. But bonus mom, bonus dad, bonus brother, bonus whatever sounds a lot better.
My mom has texted in and she's concerned about you that you've never heard of snow cream.
Never. I have never heard of snow cream. Not only that, I would have never tried snow cream.
It's like ice cream.
It's not like ice cream.
Yeah, it is.
Ice cream is ice cream.
But it's snow. It's whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I will trust my cohorts on this. Dr. Crane.
You trust us.
Dr. Crane's never been wrong, so we'll have to.
Whoa, easy there, Joe. That's a lot of weight
You've
on
been
the
wrong.
shoulders.
You've been wrong once.
I've only been wrong once in my life.
Yep. So
Do you know what that
There you
is,
go.
Dr. Crane?
What is that?
I voted for Walter Mondale in 1984, and I thought he would win the election. There's a joke behind that. Do you know what the joke is? He got destroyed in that election by Ronald Reagan. He won one state, his home
Which was
state
his
of
own state.
Minnesota. Yes, Ronald Reagan beat him in 49 of 50 states. That's how bad it was for Walter Mondale.
I bet they're all snow cream people. That's why.
Could be, and I'm not. That's why I didn't vote for him. That's why I don't know. Okay, I'm confused. All right, Chase, what's happening, man?
Oh, you just got a lot of stuff going on. Yesterday we had a couple of football games, which was nice for those of us that were snowed in. The Bills beat the Steelers. Is that it for Mike Tomlin when they brought up the contract?
Silly Joe Rexroad asked me a question about my contract. I'm like, I'm not answering that. I'd walk off. I'd be done. No, I good for Mike Tomlin.
No, I mean it is what it is. So, and then the nightcap, the Bucks absolutely destroy the Eagles, 32-9. Baker Mayfield advances to the divisional round of the playoffs, and now the questions are: could there be 3 more job openings after this weekend? The Cowboys. I heard that Robbie and Rex would say Jerry Jones not doing his usual radio hit in Dallas. Could that mean something? I do think they're going to move on from Mike McCarthy. Just kind of have a feeling. And then if Tomlin steps down with a year left on the contract, or Sirianni is let go in Philadelphia, that would be 3 more. So could be very, very interesting. And I think, Mike Vrabel's name could be attached to all three of those jobs. I know we haven't really heard anything about him since he was fired by the Titans, but I kind of feel like a lot of teams wanted to see what happened with Wild Card Weekend, and now if those jobs do become available, it could change some things.
What, you mean to tell me Mike Vrabel hadn't got a job yet? Didn't Colin Cowherd say he would get a phone call immediately? Didn't all those national guys say?
Well, we don't know if he. I mean, who knows if he's gotten phone
They
calls?
leak
We don't know.
everything. Everything is leaked these days. Everything. We would have heard something if somebody reached out to Mike Vrabel. Nobody's reached out
Stuff
to
being
him.
leaked, I think, cost Vrabel his job.
Could be. How dare you go to New England? He's like, well, look, girl. He's, I could see that conversation with Vrabel acting like Danny Zuko from Grease with, I can't do I was doing Peyton Manning right there with, Miss Amy, I was up in Boston talking to Robert Kraft, and we didn't discuss anything that had to be done about this football team. For those that don't know, Peyton Manning and Elvis Presley are the same person. Just
Yeah,
let
I was about
everybody
to
know.
say, you got Peyton, you got Elvis.
I could see, but Vrabel would do the old Danny Zuko, like, it's cool, baby. Talking to Amy. Why were you up there?
What are you doing? Who are you talking to?
He's like, just a rocking and a rolling.
This whole thing is just becoming more and more. I feel like maybe we say this every year, but the fact that, you had Saban retire in college and then Belichick is out in New England, this to me has become the most intriguing coaching search in recent memory. Jim Harbaugh did meet with the Chargers yesterday. Belichick met with the Falcons yesterday, it was reported. Nothing imminent on either one, but I feel like the Falcons would be a good fit for Belichick. Obviously, we'll see if Dallas wanted to make a move or Philadelphia, but I can't really see Belichick in Philly. I don't know.
Was that you that tweeted out the Belichick and Saban should do a podcast, but with no holds barred? Was that you? Did I see you tweet that out the other day?
I didn't tweet that out, but that would be awesome.
And just like zero cares and just rail on everybody. That would be the best. But no, I'm with you. I see, Belichick interviewed in Atlanta. He's looking for some sort of control, which obviously, that's the thing he wants.
Would you give him that at this point, though?
Absolutely, I would. He
So you
won
would say-
6 Super Bowls. He went to 9 of them, right?
I get that, but it hasn't been great since Brady. So, if you're Jerry Jones, that's been his problem all along, is he wouldn't give up control, or Arthur Blank, are you going to give Bill Belichick, who cares about his age? Are you going to give Bill Belichick the full control based on the results that they've had in New England?
I would. I mean, who else is out there you're going to go to fill that job? If Jerry Jones wants to make a splash, wants to be on the front page, just go get Belichick and then go. But work out something like, all right, we're going to do this together, because Jerry's not going to give total control to Bill Belichick. No. He's just not going to do that. But I think you give Bill a shot down there and see what he can do. I mean, he met with Arthur Blank. I'm sure Arthur Blank will give him everything he wants, but would you rather be Atlanta or Dallas? And I don't know, maybe he wants to go to Atlanta and say, all right, here, you can have everything in your control here, where Jerry's like, well, you're going to give half of this and half of that, and who knows. But I think he could go in and get a lot from Jerry, because I got to tell you what, Chase, we talked about this yesterday. Sunday night, I've never seen Jerry Jones look as miserable and deflated and defeated as he was after that football game.
Well, he should have felt that way. I mean, how do you let that happen? That's the thing. You're the second seed. You were a 7.5-point favorite at home, and you let essentially a rookie quarterback, even though I know he's been sitting there for 3 years, you let him come in and just absolutely not only did he beat you, but he dominated you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He did do that. Did you watch a lot of the Bills and Steelers game? I watched every play of that game.
Yeah, I did.
Something in that game needs to be talked about. It needs to be changed. And I know a lot of people won't like this, but I'm telling you, man, if a quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, he should be live, Because when Josh Allen does that fake, I'm going to slide, and the defense holds up, then he runs for more, either you commit to the slide and you're down right there, or you leave yourself open to get blasted. Because
I agree on the fake slide. I think if you're trying to – I think he has an edge by doing that. And, but a running back wouldn't have that edge. So,
no, he wouldn't.
If he I agree. If he breaks the line of scrimmage, there should be, there should definitely be some thought there, and they should look at that.
Yeah, because it could. If I'm a quarterback, I'm going to fake that slide, and every defensive player holds up because one of those times when Allen did slide, a Steelers guy couldn't hold himself up, hits him. I don't think it was intentional at all, and that was the last drive, and they got 15 yards and moved the ball down the field. So I think at some point they need to come up because remember Kenny Pickett did that in the ACC championship game for Pitt a couple years ago when he was going to slide, and like 4 guys just stopped, and he was like psych and took off down the field and scored a touchdown. So I think at some point, and if your quarterback's smart, I would use that to your advantage, but when you cross the line of scrimmage, you know how I feel. You should get blasted if you're running the football. It's not going to happen. But they need to make a rule now that if you commit to a slide, then you're down right there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. He's gotten away with that too much. So
Yeah, he has.
I think they're going to look. They can look at that. Would you like Would you look at the tush push?
No.
I mean, I think it's fine, but I know they're going to screw it up.
They will. And, and here's the deal. If you're pushing, there's going to be a fine line of when the 1 yard line or whatever you're trying to get a yard and having the guy push you over, they're going to have to do a thing where you can't push them forward. But I don't know. I kind of like it because what it does to me, Philadelphia tried it last night, Chase, on the goal line. And to me, it's 100% pure football. What I mean by that is the lineman, you got to get the lower center of gravity. You're fighting, you're scrambling, you're just charging in there. And the Bucs stopped Philadelphia last. I thought it was a great play. They stopped them. That's pure football, blocking, tackling in the middle of the field. And I like it. But they'll get rid of it. They'll do something with it.
615-737-1025. Chasing Big Joe up and running here on a Tuesday. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com if you want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about. We leave it open to you throughout the show. We'll do another check of the conditions outside. I've been watching all morning, and little icy in spots for sure. My road is still completely covered in white, but how is it in your area? Plus, the Titans coaching search continues. And I'm curious if the next few days and maybe some other job openings affect that at all, or if they have their list and they're going to stick with that. We'll discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
All right, my good friends. Look, I love hearing from all you have used medical house calls and love the experience and care. Now, here's how it works. 1, just give them a call because all visits start with a phone call with one of the providers to determine the extent of your needs. 2, pick your treatment. Answer a few questions. They'll provide you with treatment options, home visit, telehealth, or virtual prescription. 3rd, you'll feel better in no time. Their great medical staff will get you up and running. And yes, feeling better in no time. Board-certified nurse practitioners and physician's assistants will guide you the entire way. In fact, Chuck McDowell used medical house calls when so impressed with the service and their commitment, he bought the company. It's very simple. Just visit the website, medicalhousecalls.com. That is medicalhousecalls.com, where the nearest clinic is your home.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line. And, of course, the Chasing Big Joe show is presented by Regal Realty Group here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game. The coaching search is underway, and it would appear that Ran Carthon now gets his opportunity to find his guy after Mike Vrabel was fired. It's hard to believe it's been a week, almost a week exactly, since Vrabel was shown the door. I guess it was probably right around now. The news got out around 11:30, and everything went into a tizzy. We got our new edition of Two-Tone TV with Amy Adams Strunk and Mike Keith, and a very interesting press conference.
I think I'm not privy to any information, but I think it's Bobby Slowick's job if he wants it. I think,
and I'd be fine with that.
Getting the playoffs, when he's on C.J. Stroud, because you can just point and say, look, here's what you've done with C.J. We know you call the plays. I'm not sure Brian Callahan calls all the plays in Cincinnati. I may be wrong, but I don't know. But I think Slowick, when he's on C.J. Stroud and getting to the playoffs, I think Titans fans would rally around that and be happy with that. And I think going back the relationship they've had with each other with Ran and him being in San Francisco, I think he's the guy that the Titans want. It was more solidified after their win on Saturday, but imagine they go and beat beat Baltimore, this weekend. I mean, even more demand. But if you're Bobby Slowick and the jobs are out there, I mean, Titans a pretty impressive job for you to get.
Yeah, and of course, I'd be fine with Bobby Slowick. I'm not going to bat an eye at that. But, there are people in this industry that I listen to, and John McClain comes on our show every week. He's going to join us Friday this week. But, when we've asked him about Bobby Slowick, and we've done it a couple of times this year when he's been on, he's very complimentary of him, but he also says, I don't know if he's quite ready to be a head coach. And look, not everybody is. When they get the job to be a head coach, are they really 100% ready? They kind of have to grow into it. And if that's the case, then maybe that's what happens with the Titans if they end up getting him. But I certainly pay attention to that. I don't dismiss things that John says. And so, are there other candidates out there that maybe are a little more groomed to be a head coach? And also, I know the report has been that they're not interested in a Belichick or a Harbaugh, but, if a Mike Tomlin becomes available, I don't know if Sirianni would get a job in this coaching cycle. If there's some others that are out there, Dan Quinn, that interests them, could they try and get somebody a little more established? We don't really know because I don't think they knew when they did the press conference.
So Bobby Slowick, defensive assistant starting out with the Redskins for a couple of years. I guess he got out of football for about 4 years, and then back in 2017, defensive quality coach with the 49ers, then offensive assistant for 2 years. I mean, he's picking Mike McDaniel's brain, Shanahan's brain, everybody out there together. And then he became an offensive pass game specialist. So he's only had 1 year of calling plays. But, I mean, he's done a heck of a job down there. And look, having a good quarterback can really make up for a lot of mistakes. So I think he's the guy that they look at now, and I think a lot of Titans fans will be happy if Bobby Slowick's the new head coach.
So would you consider, if they announce Bobby Slowick as the new head coach, would you consider that a home run hire?
I don't think there's anything anymore as home run hires. Because we've seen those things. That's a home run hire, and a year later, he's fired. He's gone. No, I think you'd rather have a very good hire than a home run hire, because there's still a lot to improve if you're very good. I think it's like, well, he won the press conference. Really? Okay, he went 0-17, but he won that press conference. It just doesn't matter that much to me anymore. So I think if you can get a very good hire, I think Bobby Slowick could be a very good hire, because, look, you have to work with Levis and the offense and build that up. But my thing is, you got to go out now and you got to hire a really good defensive coordinator. You got to, because you're going to pay very little attention to that on that side of the football. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Look, on those lines, Joe, if you hire Slowick as the head coach, I'd go get either a former head coach or a really established defensive coordinator, like somebody that's been doing it for a while. Because I think, if you remember, one of the smartest moves that Mike Vrabel made was when he hired Dean Pease to be his defensive coordinator, his first couple of years as the head coach. I think having a guy with that type of experience to lean on was really beneficial to Vrabel. So I think Slowick or whoever, if it's a young head coach, should do the same thing.
I totally agree. Hey, real quick, we got a phone call because evidently I'm getting beat up over snow cream. Chase, let's welcome in Chip Walters to the show. Chip, are you there?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Good. Tell me what I'm missing. You texted me bourbon snow cream?
Oh, it's a thing. I hear, yeah. Growing up down in the dimple of the universe down in Columbia, Tennessee, my mom used to make snow cream, and it's about, here's the recipe, about 6 cups of snow, a can of evaporated milk, a dash of vanilla, and if you want to spice it up, about 1/3 of a cup of bourbon, mix it up, and it's just like, it's almost kind of like French vanilla ice cream, but it's something that you only get, and this is perfect snow, by the way. This snow was perfect to make snow cream with.
Yeah, this was good snow cream snow. I need to try it with bourbon, though. That's a good call, Chip.
There you go. Well, try to give you the little extra whenever possible.
I don't know why. I've never heard. I'm being totally serious. I've never heard of snow cream in my entire life, and I grew up here.
I know that's kind of, it's odd, but I find something about every other day that I've never heard of.
Well,
so don't feel bad.
Chip, I mean, the word odd and Joe Dubin in the same sentence is pretty common. So I mean, that's okay.
There you go.
I'll be going
There
to
you go.
HR with that. Chip, are you getting on the road soon?
I've actually been out. I am out this morning, and I can tell you in Murfreesboro, if you are on one of the main thoroughfares, it's pretty decent. Obviously, the neighborhoods haven't been really touched all that much, but and I just passed over I-24 a time or two, and it looks pretty good down this way. But like if you're on Broad Street, Church Street, Manchester Highway, Las Casas Pike, those are all state routes, and and TDOT has gotten a hold of those, so they're actually in pretty decent shape.
Nice. No, are you getting on the? Are you traveling with the middle basketball team?
Yes, and I did. We leave tomorrow for El Paso, where it is 70 degrees.
Oh,
I've already
nice.
checked the weather.
Yeah, Chip, since you're on Thursday night, 7:30 pregame, 8 o'clock tip on 93.3 Classic Hits.
That's correct. And then Saturday night up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, same time, same bat station.
Nice.
Indeed.
Maybe the team bus won't get pulled over for a drug search on the way up to New Mexico State like it did when I was out there with you, Chip. Although you went ahead of us, they pulled the bus over in the middle right before we got to campus and did a search of the bus. So,
Did you get drug out of the bus?
no, but I'm thinking, oh, God, somebody planted something in my bag. What's going to happen here? But no, they were very thorough in their search, and then we had to walk half a mile to the stadium, so that was fun.
There you go. All right.
All right, safe.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day, boys.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Chippy.
you, Chip.
See ya.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, and again, 93.3 Classic Hits, your home for Blue Raider basketball Thursday at 7:30 against UTEP.
Bourbon snow cone. Now you got me interested. All right, before I was like, nah. Now
So
you
we
got me
piqued your
interested.
interest.
Yeah,
Throw a little bourbon in there.
yeah. So I know you got some bourbon at your palatial estate out there, right?
Oh, I definitely do.
In West Nashville. So I'll take what Chip said, and then I might try it. Would it work with tequila though?
Probably.
Big
I don't see why not.
Big
How
tequila
about a
guy.
butterscotch bourbon snow cream?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now we're on to something.
What about a bushwhacker?
Hey, even better.
Could you make a bushwhacker with snow? I guess you could.
I guess. Isn't it all slushy anyway?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's in a bushwhacker? I forget. It's good. There's one at Edley's has a great bushwhacker. Maybe I'll take Paul Koharski and we'll go over there and have a couple of bushwhackers.
That'd be just a couple of guys.
Yeah, hey,
having some
what they're
bushwhackers.
the bushwhacker boys?
The bushwhackers. They were called
Yeah,
the
and they came in raising their arms.
Yep.
Oh, good times, man.
Good times indeed. There's a text that I want to get to coming up next about Bobby Slowick and a reason that too many people use. We'll do that coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Spring Hill Heating and Cooling Game Nashville studios. Keeping your home feeling comfortable all year round. Very important today with it being so cold that your heat is working for sure. We'll go to the phones in just a second, but there's a text that I wanted to read about Bobby Slowick. Dustin in Hopkinsville says, I would take Slowick for tons of reasons. You take him from the Texans and from Stroud. Reset Stroud with a new offense. You give Levis Slowick to progress him. It's a double-edged sword. So I agree with the Levis front, but it is funny. I see a lot of people saying that they want Bobby Slowick just to take him away from the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud, and my thought process is, and I'm not saying Dustin's doing this, but my thought process is, yeah, worry about your own house. Don't worry about taking him from somebody else, but make sure he's the right guy for you.
Why wouldn't you say? I like that.
Sure, but you want to make sure that he's going to be the right fit with Will Levis because that's who you got right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you're not going to take him if he's not the right fit just to make like, ha, Houston, you want to take him in. If somebody's thinking that way,
I don't know what Amy Adams Strunk in this organization would do. She might hear that and go, hey, there, we got our guy. Never know with her.
But let Rand do it. Let Rand do his Rand. Let him do his thing and find out who can get in there. But no,
I agree. Let Rand do his thing. But is she going to let Rand do his thing?
Well, I'll answer that in a few weeks after you shut your mouth.
Well, that's rude.
Why did you go to New England? It's cool, baby. It's a rocking and a rolling. What it is.
Is that Vrabel?
That's Vrabel is Danny Zuko coming back from New England talking to Amy Adams. Why did you go up there? I didn't know about this. It's all cool, baby. A rocking and a rolling.
No, it's probably like, I didn't know about this. I left a note on your desk.
Well, I called. He holds his cell phone up. I called, and aren't you 615 whatever?
Yeah, I talked to somebody named Dan and said that, I was
Robbie, get in here. Yes, ma'am. Did you know about this? I didn't. I didn't know what was going on here. I sure didn't. It's all cool, rocking and a rolling.
Did you watch Grease recently? Is that why this
I've watched Grease no less than 1,000 times in my life. So that's Vrabel coming back from his induction, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Or whatever it was up there in New England. Yeah, he's not. Okay. And that's the thing. Let me get this. I know we can take the phone call. I was looking at the list of the guys in the hall that are up for the Hall of Fame. I mean, we're getting to where they should only induct one or two guys into the Hall of Fame. I mean, some of these guys aren't deserving of getting to the Hall. We'll get into that whole other thing later on, but
okay. Well, do you think Jason Kelce? The report is he's retiring. That he told his teammates
absolutely. I'm telling you right now,
100%, hands down.
He is the best center in the NFL since Dwight Stevenson in the 80s with the Dolphins. That guy, I've talked about. I've watched him for a long time. He is fantastic. And people are like, well, it's a center. How important is a center to your football team? Look what you go from Ben Jones to Aaron Brewer, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather have Ben Jones back? Jason Kelce's next level blocking on linebackers has a center. He pulled and was pancaking linebackers in open fields. He's that good of a center. They will miss him immensely. Jason Kelce is an amazing football player.
He's going to be fun because I could see him doing media. And I know Travis has more of the personality, but I could definitely see him doing some stuff. Like the Thursday night crew has used what's his name? Whitworth?
Yeah. Yep. Hit the road. Yep.
I agree.
He'll be great in that. And then plus, I mean, he's got that unique perspective of being, on the front line there for so many years. But he is, he's an amazing center. And you could see last night how emotional he got at the end of the game. Yep. That's a guy that went out there and just did his job and played hard for so many years for the Eagles. They're going to miss him big time.
Usually at this time we'd be joined by Hal Gill, presented by Duncan, but obviously they're on the West Coast, so no Hal today. Let's go to the phone, 615-737-1025. Jeremiah in Clarksville. This says he has a football riddle. What's up, Jeremiah?
Good morning, guys. I enjoy y'all's program. Liz, I wanted to see well y'all know football history.
Okay.
All right, you've got three. This concerns three different positions. You got a quarterback, you got a halfback, and you got a fullback. Now, there's only been one time a three quarterback. Can you tell either of y'all tell me who it was and what team he played on?
A three quarterback?
Yes, sir.
Joe, I don't know.
All right, say it again. A quarterback, halfback, and a fullback?
Yeah, but there's a position missing there, three quarterback. And there was a three quarterback one time in the history of football. Who was it and what team did he play on?
Y.A. Tittle for the Giants.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Somebody's in the bourbon snow cream today already at 9:30.
Thank you, Jeremiah. We walked into that one.
I still don't know what that was.
I don't either.
A quarterback, a halfback, and a fullback. The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Three quarterback. I get it now.
I guess he's hunched over
Yeah,
3/4 of the way.
Yeah.
That's like me in the morning getting out of bed.
I'm going back to bed after
Yeah.
that one.
Hey, Jeremiah, what kind of snow cream are you? Is that straight tequila or what is that? Good Lord.
There are
wow.
so many jokes I can make there.
Feels like we just got off the road and stopped at a Stuckey's. Now we're back on the road again, going forward. Good Lord. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, Jason Kelsey, that's where we were. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just think, we now Titans fans know how important offensive line is. We've seen how bad one was this year. So, give extra love to those guys up front. Kelsey will be he'll be missed in the league and for that Eagles team.
In your mind, because, look at some of the teams that were like Houston. Houston's probably the best example of a team that turned it around. They obviously found the quarterback, but he's got weapons. They drafted a couple of receivers that are going to be with him for years to come. So it's been a relatively quick turnaround, probably a lot quicker than even they thought. But with the Titans, if they do it right, if Rand Carthon is like truly what they hope he is, and he can do it his way and find the right coach and find the right players, isn't it feasible to think that this isn't going to take all that long?
Could be. But again, we talked about this yesterday. 98 Rams, good example. 22 Texans are a good example. And there are other examples of teams that have turned it around in 1 year. Look at the 98 Colts. They did it. They were 3-13 to 13-3. So it can happen. But you got to have all those pieces in place to get it done and to turn that franchise around. We're talking from top to bottom, everybody pulling. Coaches always talk about everybody pulling the same way, like whatever. But it's so true. You got to pull the same way where the third team left tackle is as important as the first team quarterback. Everybody has to put the team before anything else. And so that's what you have to do. But I don't think it's impossible to turn around. It's hard, but I don't think it's impossible to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is they don't have to turn it around in a year. Do this right. Do this the right way. You're in a rebuild whether you want to be or not, but you got $85 million in cap space that you can play with. You have the quarterback. You think you do, at least, but you have a young quarterback that showed you some flashes of good that you took in the second round. So build around that. Go build your offensive line. Use the draft and free agency to do that. He needs more weapons on offense, wide receiver. If you don't bring Henry back, you're still going to need to go get another running back to go with Tajay Spears. So do that. And then the secondary, for the love of God, fix the secondary. They need that shutdown corner, which I know they don't grow on trees, but they got to go find that guy. I would look at, Sean Murphy-Bunting. You could bring him back if you wanted to, but you still got to go get that guy that can, be centered around in the secondary. There's a lot of ifs, a lot of, do this, but it can be done.
Yeah, of course it can be done. And I think nothing short of getting back to get into the playoffs, and that's your goal. It should be like, wow, we're going to try to get 8 wins this year. You should try to get to the playoffs, and then, the goal is to win the Super Bowl, and that's what, obviously, everything should be pointed towards that. But you could turn it around, and But you've just got to get, I mean, no more of these one-year contracts of guys going to come in and find somebody who could stay here for a couple of years. And this is not the NCAA. You're not getting a guy for a year. Find guys that can fit in and work hard and come in here. Just the one-year deals never work out. I mean, there's been a Titan that come here for, I mean, Jason Babin's one that probably stands out.
Sure.
He came in for 1 year, and there are some other examples, but the large part, you get these guys that are, be invested with everything that you want to do with the team. And so there's a lot that goes in to do that, but to say it's impossible, man, nothing is impossible, Chaser. Nothing.
That's right. Nothing is impossible.
Nope.
That is true. You got to put your mind to it for sure. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It is the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard anything in regards to Ben Johnson, to be honest with you. Here's the thing. I don't even – yeah, they put in the request, but I don't even put it. It's like trying to date somebody. It's like me trying to date Rihanna. Like, yeah, it's something to really want to pursue, and yeah, it would be great, but I don't think there's a match there.
That was Teron Davenport yesterday on Caroline Willie and D Mace. Hey, you know what, TD, shoot your shot, man. You never know. But yeah, that's where the Titans are at with Ben Johnson. That maybe the request has been made, or the request has been made, but a few people have asked about it on the text line, whether it happens or not. The more we discuss this, the more that I feel like Bobby Slowick is number one, and then Callahan is probably number two, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of chatter from Mike McDonald out there too as well, but
yeah,
I think you got to go back to relationships, and I think it's got to be somebody that Rand Carthon knows and has worked with, and Bobby Slowick is that guy.
I mean, look, I'm glad you brought up Mike McDonald. Love to him and the Doobie Brothers, but
God, I was about to say that.
I know.
Hate you for that. I was like, I'm gonna be there.
But I'm not like keen on a defensive coach. But
why?
But well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
But having somebody out of the John Harbaugh tree intrigues me. John Harbaugh is a damn good football coach. He's done a really, really good job with Baltimore. He's the second most tenured coach now behind Tomlin.
He is,
after Belichick is gone. But I'm intrigued by that. No, I think I've fallen into the trap maybe about find one of these offensive gurus that can come in and develop Levis, which McDonald could hire somebody to do that.
Exactly.
He could be the head coach.
Yep.
But they've, I'm also one of those that, you just had a different, like Malarkey was offense. They went to Vrabel that was defense, and now you go to offense. But there's no perfect way to do it, and that was even something that Amy Adams Strunk said on Two-Tone TV, and Rand Carthon, brought it up in the press conference that, they're not necessarily going to target offense just because Vrabel was defense.
Well, nobody was yelping in 19 and 20 when the offense was going on all cylinders and getting things done. Only when, Arthur Smith left, it was like, we got to get an offensive. Just get a good head coach. Again, John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. He was able to hire great coordinators who came in and let them do their thing as a head coach. He delegated that. Now, I don't know if there's a guy out there now that could do that on those same level. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if you want to placate the fan base and hire an offensive coach, that's fine. That's fine. You should be hiring the best head coach for your football team, not one that makes the fan base all happy and jolly.
Why not do both? You can do both. Like if you find the right guy that you think is the perfect head coach for your football team, and it makes the fan base happy, then it's a win-win.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that's not their number one concern, but I mean, look, they do have some things they need to do to improve relations with the fan base, because the fan base is not too happy with that organization right now, and they got a new stadium down the line. So I'm not saying placate to the fans, but at the same time, you got to settle the natives down a little bit.
Well, you do, and so now you're just sitting on pins and needles and let them interview as many people as they can, and then figure out who it's going to be. But I think it's Slowick, and the relationship is there, and what he's doing with C.J. Stroud. I mean, there's all the positives, very little negatives when it comes to this guy. All the positives are there, and again, you take the one that could best you think you lead your team for the next 5-7 years and can win football games. And I think Bobby Slowick, we've seen what he does in the 1 year there. I know it's only 1 year in a small sample size, but he's gotten it done. I mean, they didn't go 5-12 and not make the playoffs. I mean, they're rolling right now, one of the Final Four in the AFC.
Yeah. So, and look, if we get Texans-Lions, I know the NFL would hate that. They would absolutely despise that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
But
go ahead.
I'd love it. What were you going to say?
Like Texans and Bucks, they would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
NFL be like, hey, we're going to cancel the Super Bowl this year. And just, we'll see you guys.
We're going to have
next
a
year.
flag football tournament.
Yeah, they'll probably do that and let Peyton and Eli run the league like they already do.
They probably put the Pro Bowl on primetime TV.
Still get better ratings than anything else that's out there.
Oh, I know. That's what's funny.
It's always done that. No, I that's funny. You bring that up about the Texans and the Bucks. That'd be a Super Bowl. Like, man, but
I mean, I'd like it. I mean,
sure.
You C.J. Stroud being this rookie phenom out of Ohio State, and then Baker Mayfield. His like redemption story.
But
with the Bucks.
We've talked about this. You know exactly who the NFL wants from the AFC in the Super Bowl. You know exactly who
Kansas
they want.
City.
Absolutely. 100%. They tell you anything else, they're lying to you.
Kansas City won, and then
I think Detroit would be a good story.
yeah, I think they'd be fine with Detroit. But like from the AFC, they want Kansas City, and then probably Baltimore too, and then NFC, Detroit. Yeah.
That's the one. Although Green Bay would be interesting to go that far in that family. But I think
Sure.
Detroit's the cool story, the fun story, and all the stories on Dan Campbell that week will be fantastic. I read somewhere about Dan Campbell, what he drinks every morning. Did you read this?
No.
It's like he drinks like 4 Starbucks coffees, but they're like loaded with espresso and sugar. And,
Oh yeah. That was from a few years ago. Yeah, his like 6 espressos or something like that.
something insane. Can you imagine getting into a fight with that guy?
No,
There's just
I prefer not to.
There's yeah, right. That's a good poll. The final 8 coaches left. Who's the one coach you don't want to get into a bar fight with? Who's the one guy you want to? I think D'Amico Ryans would be sneaky. I think he'd be tough. I think he'd pound your face in.
Let's think. We need to think about this for a second.
Yeah, well, the final 8, which for years in college, I told you that the one guy I would take in college head coach would be. I would not want to fight Will Muschamp. He's just insane. But now these final 8 coaches. I mean, Dan Campbell is top of the list. I mean, Harbaugh, no. I mean, McDermott,
LaFleur,
no. LaFleur, no. Shanahan, no. I mean, it's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Todd Bowles, no. It'd be Campbell and D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Those two.
I agree. I think one of those two. That could be interesting. I'd want to have them on my side.
Yeah, absolutely. And the speech Dan Campbell gave after the game with to the GM about turning it around, and that first year in 21 they were awful. Jared Goff didn't want to be there. You could tell, and then he gave the game ball to Jared Goff. He's like, you're good enough to be here now, or something on those lines. And it was a heck of a speech, man. It was, and I said, look, football, it's more than a game. I mean, that speech in the locker room was. Again, I mean, I love football so much because it makes you be bigger than yourself. And those are teams that succeed when you get all guys who put the team first instead of individual accolades. And that's what Detroit's doing. And so now there's a lot of people, that's the darling football team now just because of the history and what they've been through. And to see, it'd be neat to see a team get to the Super Bowl for the first time ever. And we got one left that can do that.
615-737-1025. We'll have much more coming on the Titans coaching search. Plus, we haven't spent a ton of time on the moves in college football because the dominoes have been falling. We'll discuss that coming up next.
Oh, here's a tease. I want to hear this. And I thought about this morning. What college football team benefits the most by Nick Saban retiring?
Ooh,
Which
okay.
college football team benefits the most by Nick Saban retiring? Let's talk about that.
We'll discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Somebody on the text line called Dr. Crane Ted earlier, so I guess that's his new name.
Got a new name, baby. Ted.
Hey, you join this show, you get all sorts of names.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
how this works.
Most you can't say on the radio, which is even better.
Yeah, well, that's mainly for Joe and I, but true. Anyway, you have a fantastic question for college football that you have thrown out there, and I have been thinking about this during the break, and I'm not sure I have an answer, but throw it out there again.
Well, with Nick Saban retiring, what school benefits the most by Nick Saban saying goodbye? Chip from Mount Juliet on the text line kind of stole my thunder. He's like, the entire SEC benefits, but Georgia comes to mind at number 1. And look, I'm not really including Texas and Oklahoma just yet in this. Some of the, the traditional ones, but I think in a large part, I think Ole Miss benefits immensely from this because Kiffin has already really gotten to the NIL part of this. Saban was fighting the NIL part, and he wasn't a fan of the playoffs and of the 12 team. You get all that, but I think now is that Kiffin can come in and say, "Look, we're the new standard. Watch us what we can do." And as long as Nick Saban was at Alabama, that wasn't going to happen because Nick owned Lane Kiffin.
Sure.
So now that he's gone, Kiffin sees this as a massive opportunity to come in and get it done. I don't think Brian Kelly at LSU. I think LSU has helped a little bit with this, but Kiffin's been the one with his tweeting, with his social media and everything else.
He's really embraced it.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
So I think Ole Miss, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you should be excited what is to happen next for your football team. Now, Kiffin's got to go out and prove that he can win these games, but, man, he's gotten – well, I think they're ranked number 1 now with all the portal guys that are coming in. If you can keep those and finally win some big games, I think Ole Miss could be a force.
Yeah, so I'm going to mostly agree with you on that. The only thing that I'm curious of is now that they've gotten rid of the divisions, what does that do? Because you're looking for the number 1 and the number 2 team in the SEC. So that could be, 2 teams out of the Old West, 2 teams out of the Old East, 1 of each. It doesn't matter. Obviously, Texas is going to have something to say about that. Oklahoma hopes to have something to say about that. But I do believe that, that Kiffin has truly embraced what the new age college football is, and whether you like it or you don't like it, you have to do that if you're going to win. And Saban, I think, realized that. He was very honest. If you haven't watched the interview that he did with Reese Davis, I highly recommend taking 30 minutes of your time to do it. It's on YouTube because he opens up quite a bit in his decision, and that he was essentially thinking year to year, and it was getting harder and harder to do that, at his age and keep coaches on his staff and recruit players and all of that. And Kiffin, like we said through all of this, why would you want to leave Oxford, Mississippi right now? You're the king. Like, you got everything you want.
Oh, yeah.
There at Ole Miss.
That's exactly right.
And he can turn that into something. I will say another, Georgia is an easy answer to say, but I'm curious to see with this new look and the 12 teams, can Georgia sustain everything? I think this helps Tennessee because if you got your guy in Nico and play the portal right, which I think that Josh Heupel needs to probably embrace that a little bit more. He's had a few guys leave, but if he embraces the portal a little bit more and things work with Nico, then Tennessee's in a really good spot to be one of the top tier teams in the SEC and in college football overall.
Well, they took Alabama's tight end. He said goodbye to Alabama and is going to Tennessee. So, and now you could come in. If you're Brian Kelly, if you're a Lane Kiffin, if you're a Josh Heupel, and you got a guy who's waving for Alabama, and say, look, here's a new coach coming in. What's going to happen and everything. It's all new. But now come here. You're still in SEC. We'll play and get it there. But I think before the Alabama guys start getting off the ship, I think they need to sit down because Kalen DeBoer is a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was. Somebody, a player said, I sat down with him, I talked to him, he listened to me. I'm staying here and I'm committed here and all that. So I think that's a good thing. But I think Kiffin will benefit so much from Saban being gone. But best part about this is, Chase, it all plays out on the field. I mean, we could talk about it for months and months, but it plays out on the field. And so that's one of the best things about it.
You make a really good point too with Kalen DeBoer. The thing that always, with the whole you don't want to be the guy to follow the guy thing, that if this fails, then it may not be all his fault because everybody's just not willing to give him a chance and they all leave and the program goes to nothing. Now, I don't think that's happening. He's going to lose some guys, but like you just mentioned, like he's sitting down, he's having conversations with his players and selling them on the program and getting them to stay. But if everybody just jumps ship because, I don't like change, even though I'm going to make a change by leaving,
right?
Then that's just an unfortunate circumstance of where college football is, and it would suck to see him not get a fair shot at this, even though it's Alabama.
Well, another thing about this is that offense that he's bringing from Washington to Alabama does not fit Jalen Milroe. I mean, not at all. I mean, because Michael Penix was an in-the-pocket passer and getting the ball out as quickly as he can, and hopefully, Milroe. I think Milroe's got a load of talent. And, one of the things now you talk about quarterbacks, they discuss this on the NFL show on CBS, which is great, the escapability factor of quarterbacks now, because the defense they're just blitzing left and right, and they're so fast, and your quarterback's got to get out of there. And you saw that in the national championship game when Michigan just went after Michael Penix. They said, we're going to pressure him because we know he really can't scramble that well, and they went after him. So if they can work out with Milroe, and I think Alabama doesn't miss a beat for the most part. Now, it's going to be, see what happens with Saban being gone and their approach to games. But I think that's a heck of a hire for Alabama and to see what they do. And, it all play out this fall. I mean, that schedule is daunting with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the league and plus your usual teams you got to play. You got to make a trip to Knoxville in October. So it's I wish it started today.
I know. It would be fun. Yeah, and I'm curious, too, of – he's got his offense that he runs, but the great coaches always adapt to the great players. And if Jalen Milroe is, in fact, one of these, top-tier players, he's going to be back, then you have to adapt that offense to work for him, at least for, just for this year. But you got to make it work because that's your guy.
Yeah, absolutely you do. And so it's August can't get here quick enough with all those that are playing and the game starting and everything. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what happens, and with the with Oklahoma and Texas coming over to the league and everything else, man. But you got to feel like for Vanderbilt, I think they have to play Oklahoma next. I mean, it's going to be for those middle of the road teams. It's going to be tough now adding Oklahoma and Texas. But I can't wait to see Oklahoma make the trips to Florida, to Oxford, to Death Valley. I mean, that's going to be fantastic.
See, I think Texas is going to be just fine. Oklahoma's the one that I think could get lost in the shuffle because I don't trust that program right now. It's going to be interesting to see.
Really? Why don't you trust the program?
Because I don't. I just don't.
They're big fans of you with all that goes on.
I love their color analysts that we had on that time.
Gosh, that was something else. Here's a list. Here's what Saturday Down South said. The 5 teams that will benefit from Nick Saban retiring. Number 5 is Tennessee. Number 4 is Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is 0-5 against Saban.
Yep.
That includes a 2009 loss with when he was at Tennessee when they got beat down there when Terrence Cody blocked the field goal, which, by the way, would not have made it because that field goal was way off. I was in the end zone when that happened. Number 3 was LSU. Number 2 is Auburn. And number 1 team that will benefit from Nick Saban being gone is Georgia.
Okay. That's an interesting list. Coming up next, we're going to get back into the NFL because speaking of lists, our gambling insider from The Unathletic has given me an odds list. What?
No, I said that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying no. Given me an odds list. If Nick Sirianni is fired, who would be the next head coach? There's a familiar name at the top. We'll discuss that next. Plus, we'll take your calls, 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tune in Thursday night on 94.9 The Fan for Vanderbilt women's basketball. The Commodores will be at home taking on Auburn. Tip-off at 6:30, pregame at 6:15. Coverage also available on the 94.9 The Fan app and at 949thefan.com. It's Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe broadcasting from the Spring Hill Heating and Cooling Game Nashville studios, keeping your home feeling comfortable all year round. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you on this Tuesday. Very, very cold out there, and the snow still on the ground. Joe seems to like this song.
I love the Pet Shop Boys. They are one of the most underrated groups ever. It's a heck of a tune there, Dr. Crane.
Thank you, sir.
We got a rave going in the production booth in here. Who all you got in there? I see Bobby and Tommy, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
I didn't know he had different lights in here. It's starting to turn blue and green.
Bell
red,
Biv
all the
DeVoe
above.
in that office in there. Nice job, buddy.
When did we
Very
install the
nice.
disco ball, Chase?
We did that Saturday after everybody left.
Man, it's awesome. Great touch.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, happy to do that. Before I get to the odds provided from Music City Bets, that was provided from somebody else, but we'll just give him credit. Let's go to the phone, 615-737-1025. Titans Jones wants to weigh in. Titans Jones, what's up?
Man, you know what? I feel happy I'm the first one, man. I'm the first one. So check this out. This is going to sound crazy, but I feel like Mike Vrabel might have been sabotaging the Titans for a couple of years now. So you're telling me you wanted to take over the draft, you wanted to take over the free agency market, you wanted to be the one making the signings, you wanted to be drafted. Think about this. So one year we seen Kyle Phillips go out there and make 5 clutch first down catches, Will Levis go-to guy. The next week, you downgrade him and you promote somebody to the practice squad. You telling me 1 week we see our right tackle that we drafted, Dylan Radon, set down Joey Bosa. The next week he played guard. We don't even see him no more. Like, I just feel, and not only that, Traylon Burks only been running clear out routes. Like, it's like, are you trying to tell Amy that you should take over by sabotaging these players? I'm hanging up and I'm listening.
Woo!
Thank you, Titans Jones. I love a good conspiracy theory.
Love it.
And,
In and out.
and that's a good one. And it's not crazy. I don't think it's 100% true. I mean, I don't think he was sabotaging necessarily, but I mean, there were dumb decisions that he made.
Well,
or
he's
questionable decisions.
Probably. I know more than you. I'm. It's just that attitude, and I think I
Oh, I
heard.
thought you were saying that to me. I was about to want to fight you. Like,
Well,
what do you mean you know
no,
more
because
than-
you won't leave your palatial estate in Bellevue because
that's
there's
true, right?
rain. It's raining. You won't get out of the house. I listened to Robbie and Rexford.
Right.
They had a great point this morning about coaching trees, and you look at that. But let me get this back, though. But is Vrabel part? He's not part of the Belichick coaching tree, though, is he?
No,
He's
everybody
not.
wants to put him in that.
Right,
He played
he's not.
for Belichick.
Okay, yeah, he's not. He's more the
well,
Urban Meyer.
I mean, I guess if you want to go derivatives of the coaching tree, you can say yes because he coached for Bill O'Brien. But I consider him in the Bill O'Brien coaching tree.
I totally agree. Yeah. And by the way, stop dropping big FRA words on me like the derivative. That's just now I got to look that word up.
Yeah,
This McGavitt guy, I got to look it up.
Deuteronomy.
I'll call Mike
Demonbreun.
Morgan and see what we got there. No, but that's the thing. But you get down to the brass tacks of things. But he probably learned about a lot of things with he played for Cowher. He played for Belichick. He played for, what was that, Todd Haley in Kansas
Yeah.
City for a little bit. But he was so depressed that he got traded to the Chiefs. He even said that, my last year I went 6-10 and
Yeah.
all that. But so he learned about approach to the game from Bill Belichick. So even though he didn't really coach with Bill, he got a lot of things from Bill. All that, and Bill's like, I know more than you know, so that's how it's going to be. And so he just, I could see that like, well, we should do this or that. Well, I know I'm going to do this or that and do something completely different. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I don't think it's one of these things of he knows more than you. And it made it very evident, Chase, when he went in, basically now more is coming out about, I want all of it. Let
Right.
me get – and so which goes back to the John Robinson thing. I mean, how much was the relationship like between Robinson and Vrabel? Do we know? A lot of speculation.
I don't, yeah. Yeah.
Talk? I mean, did he go and backstab Robinson to Amy? I mean, I'd love
Did he
to
throw
know all
his
this.
bag out the building like, here you go. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I don't know. I would love to know how this all played out, starting with the firing of John Robinson.
I think we'll get the book one day, and then we'll know.
Only if Adam Schefter writes it or Diana Rossini.
Maybe. All right, so this was from BetOnline AG. Jamie Eisner put this out, and of course our buddy Rick shared it with me. If the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni, who will be the next Eagles head coach, The I guess the long shots, Dave Canales, Mike Kafka, Raheem Morris are at 40-1. They even have Jason Kelsey 33-1. Jim Schwartz, Brian Callahan 28-1. Pete Carroll 25-1. Todd Monken, Kellen Moore 18-1. Dan Quinn, Mike McDonald, Rex Ryan 16-1. Frank Smith 12-1. Here's where we get into the interesting ones. Jim Harbaugh plus 900.
Hold up with Jim Harbaugh. Dan Wetzel, this just came out 10 minutes ago. I'm trying to verify, but from Dan Wetzel, he's reputable, right?
Yeah.
It says Jim Harbaugh is seeking immunity from termination from any finding or sanction that could arise from multiple current NCAA investigations into the program. Isn't that just weird? Seeking immunity?
Like if he takes an NFL job?
From termination. No, if he stays there. And they find all these improprieties in the program, he gets immunity from being fired from any finding or sanction that could arise from multiple current NCAA investigations into the program.
That's interesting.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it seems to be a lot of fire there.
Oh, yeah. So they have Harbaugh at plus 900, Ben Johnson at plus 500. There's two coaches at plus 400, Bobby Slowick and Bill Belichick. And the favorite at minus 150, Mike Vrabel.
Wow.
I think that'd be a fit for him. He could handle that market. Obviously, he'd have AJ. He'd have Byard. He'd have guys that, that he knew that could help be a leader in that room for him. Got the quarterback. I mean, I still think that's a pretty good football team. It just something happened down the stretch. Now, missing somebody like Kelsey, but, we know how this goes. Like, if a player retires, like, right after their last game, like, he's in there and he's emotional. He's telling everybody, hey, I'm done. Maybe he takes a little time and then rethinks it. And, maybe he likes Mike Vrabel and says, that could be fun, like, playing for him. So I never rule a guy out when they say they retired, especially, how you feel in January is a lot different than how you feel in May.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And so maybe he could come in and I think A.J. Brown was a problem in that locker room because you look down the stretch, all the cameras are fixated on him. The papers come out up there and just rip him apart and say there's a problem in the locker room, and it's A.J. Brown. Maybe Vrabel could come in and kind of right that ship. Chase, the more I'm reading about this Jim Harbaugh thing, the more it's just, why would he want to stay? On the
Do you think he really wants to? I don't think he wants to stay. I think all this is just a ploy. He's won a national championship now.
Sticking point, language that grants Harbaugh immunity from termination for any findings stemming from multiple current NCAA investigations. So if they come in and say, all this was wrong, you did this, but we can't fire you, though, because you got immunity.
Sure.
Do you really want a head coach so he knew what was going on all along, right? There's no plausible deniability
if he's
here.
looking for immunity, then that's telling me he knew everything that was going on.
Exactly.
Like, he has just admitted guilt without admitting guilt.
Plus, now it's, late January or mid to late January now. It's middle of January. And so I know the portal is getting these guys in left and right. But, here's the deal. And we talked to Walt Wells about this. Remember the main thing it is about the portal, what all the coaches wanted these players to do? You had to go to class.
Yep.
So once you're in class, and a lot of schools started back this week for a lot of colleges, they got you. You can't leave. You're there now. And so maybe they're just kind of weighing this. I don't know, but this doesn't sound – I know, speaking for him, but language that grants Harbaugh immunity from termination for any findings stemming from multiple current NCAA investigations. That's something, man.
So let me ask you this question. With Jim Harbaugh, put all the other stuff aside, just from a football coach, him as a football coach, he just won a championship. Do you think that if you're an NFL team, that him as a football coach, he can come in and win you a Super Bowl?
Absolutely. He's a heck of a coach. He's a heck of a coach. He did it when he was at the University of San Diego. He did it when he was at Stanford. He did it with the 49ers. He's done it with Michigan. He's a heck of a coach.
I agree. And so I think that all this stuff, all this smoke, I mean, he's going to dodge it. I mean, in some ways, Pete Carroll didn't dodge it. I mean, Pete Carroll, there were sanctions, and obviously we know the championship got removed at USC, but he got out of Dodge and went to the NFL and then won a Super Bowl. I think Harbaugh is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think Harbaugh, and to me, now there can be more interesting jobs. Like, let's talk about this. If you're Harbaugh, is the Chargers the best job, or if one of these other jobs that we've talked about from Wild Card Weekend opens up, would you rather have one of those? We'll discuss that coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Duman. I'm Chase McCabe with you. All this stuff with Jim Harbaugh is just fascinating. Before we get into these jobs that could be a fit for him, I was thinking about this during the break. How much – so you're the head coach. You have to know what's going on in your house. We agree on that, right? Like, you know what's up.
Absolutely you do.
But has it gotten to a point with – college football especially, that they know what's up, but then they don't know, so they can say that they don't know? Like, for instance, hey, do whatever you got to do. Like, that's Jim Harbaugh. Do whatever you got to do. Don't tell me what you're doing, even though I know what you're doing is probably wrong.
Yeah, isn't that plausible deniability?
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. Hey, I didn't do, and know that you're going to take the fall. Isn't that what Connor Stallions did? I mean, he took the fall.
Like,
and
I think he knew exactly.
Of course,
like
he did.
he told Connor Stallions, "Hey, go give us an edge, but don't tell me the details."
It's like Tony Soprano, man. Go out and do that. I know what you're doing, but when
Take
you get
care of it.
Yeah, take care of it. Exactly. Yeah, but don't. If you get caught, I don't know. I've never talked to you. I've never seen you in my life, and so isn't that the basis for all the Mission Impossible movies?
Pretty much, yeah.
We have no eye. If you get caught, you don't exist to us, or all that goes on.
Right.
Also, in this Dan Wetzel thing, it says that Harbaugh is asking, or they're $11.5 million a year to be the head coach. Look, I don't know why he wants to stay, and if you have
I
to
don't think he does. I just think this is. I'm gonna ask for the moon, and if I get it, great, and if I don't,
what if Michigan says, okay, we'll meet all your demands?
Well, then he goes to the Chargers or whoever and says, hey, what do you think? I mean, it's how bad do you want him? And right now, even with all the stuff attached to him, his stock is high. He just won the national championship. Say what you want about it. You can say, oh, they're going to just, it's going to be taken away from them in a year or two. They're like, that's fine. They won. They won it.
Yeah.
So you can't. You could take a banner down, but you can't erase the moment from everybody's mind. There's no thing from Men in Black that erases your memory.
But the record books, you can go and look, like the Michigan basketball team,
which is just
never existed.
I know, it's just stupid though.
It is. I'm with you.
Give Reggie the Heisman back. Dude, just stop all this crap.
Yeah, that's something crazy. Exactly with the Reggie Bush and the Heisman Trophy, because guys are making 15 times what he made. But back then it wasn't legal, and that's
fine.
The thing. That's like getting the whole Pete Rose thing. I mean, should he be in the Hall of Fame now that betting has become all around? Everybody's doing all that. Should it be him?
Well, he should already be in the Hall of Fame. The reason he's not is because he's a Richard, because he's not a good person, and so that they've held that all the stuff that's come out with him and just how much of a jerk he can be. That he's never going to get in as long as he's alive. When he dies, they'll put him in.
Okay. Well, I mean, does he deserve? No, we're not going to get into this. This is a June topic, man.
Yeah,
Pete Rose and all that,
June topic.
and all that to get in there.
If you're Jim Harbaugh, do you agree with me that the Chargers for him are probably the best fit?
Yeah, but tell me why. Because they're in cap hell, but they've got a quarterback who he's been decent. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad. He's been decent. He's had great talent around him, too.
He has. I just think coaching has gotten in the way. And look, I could be wrong, but I was one of those. I thought Justin Herbert was going to crash and burn and not be a good NFL quarterback. And when I saw him in his rookie year, I was like, well, I'm going to be wrong on this one. He's got it. He's got talent. I just think he needs the right coach to go with him, and he has not had that in his NFL career. I think Jim Harbaugh can be that guy. You're right. They're in cap hell, but as we know, the cap can be manipulated, and I think they can get out of that. You keep the talent around him. You work on the O-line a little bit, and then you let him and Harbaugh cook, and I think that they'll have something special there.
Yeah, I think, but this Michigan thing now, I think it's more than, I know it's always about money, but I just find it odd that he wants to stay. I
don't think he does. I really don't think he does. I think it's what else do you have to do? You just won the national title. You have accomplished you beat Ohio State and you won the national title. Those are the two things you have to do at Michigan, and he's done it. So what else is there to do?
His record in the NFL, he's 49-22. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean,
he got a
for
team
him.
to the Super Bowl. He got with Colin Kaepernick, he got to the Super Bowl.
But what does it do for, all these guys now about their legacy? I mean, what comes out like, hey, we had multiple violations. You did all this and all that. We know you're involved in that, but because you have immunity, Jim, we're not going to touch you, so go do what you want to do. So if I'm a coach now, I'm asking for immunity and all my stuff.
Oh, the can of worms. That's why Michigan can't do it.
Yes.
Because the can of worms it would open, like everybody would be like, oh, okay. Yeah, let me get that deal.
And from all accounts, when I was talking with all these other coaches and talents with the convention about and I forget his name, the Michigan OC who filled in when Harbaugh was gone. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking
Evidently, he's beloved. He's a heck of a coach.
He'll be the next coach.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not really – I mean, you'll miss a little bit because Jim Harbaugh's
See the guy that
leaving.
kept dropping F-bombs on TV?
It might have been. I don't know. But, just promote him, and then you really don't miss a beat for the most part, and then let Jim and go and blame it all on him down the line. And, we talk. I mean, if these violations are that bad, look, there's never going to be another death penalty in college football ever.
No.
Ever. Because they saw what it decimated to SMU when they got the death penalty. And, can you imagine? I mean, Alabama in the 90s, they had the 93 season's gone. They had to give all those wins away. It was pretty bad. And for a lot of things that went on, can you imagine putting a program like Alabama on the death penalty or any team on that level that's, been accused and caught of cheating at that level? It's never going to happen ever again. So there might be some bad things coming from Michigan, but it's not going to be anything they can work past.
Sharon Moore is who you're talking about.
Who is it?
Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore. There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so for Harbaugh in the NFL, would Dallas be the job if it opens up?
Yeah, why not? Why not? If you're going to go to the NFL, why not go to the top franchise? Why not?
Philadelphia?
There's a lot of talent there.
A lot of talent.
Yep.
A lot of talent.
Atlanta, no.
Atlanta, no. Pittsburgh, no.
It's not
Plus,
open.
I don't think he wants to be in the same division as his brother.
It'd be kind of fun.
It'd be fun, but I could see him not wanting to do that.
Cowboys are scheduled to have 19 unrestricted free agents this offseason.
They are. I mean, they're going to lose. They could lose a lot. I mean, they certainly have to have some work to do. But that's why I think Derrick Henry, because Pollard's going to be a free agent, but they could tag him if they wanted. Or did they tag him last year? I think they did tag him
last year. Yes.
But I think you can do it still 2 years in a row. But try and get something worked out with him. Add somebody like Henry. Receiver-wise, is Cooks one of those free agents?
He's only played for every team in the league, so probably.
I'll double-check the list real quick.
He may have been a one-year deal. I can't remember.
Through all this, I mean, if you're Atlanta, if you're Arthur Blank, that's why you want to Belichick, because you're not getting talked about at all. Like, well, if this other job opens up or that job is much better than your job, I mean, it's got to be wouldn't it be deflating a little bit if people think very little of your franchise? And I know you've been to 2 Super Bowls, but one in the last 8 years. Wouldn't it be something like, I want to go out, I want to make a difference? Because these guys all have egos, right? And
sure.
And girls, whatever. And you want to go out and put your franchise out there. And like with Washington, that's why I think Washington to me is a hidden little team. It's kind of like, we're going to make a big splash here. Somehow, some way, we're going to make a big splash. Yeah, because we don't talk about it. Now it's like, what happens if Philadelphia and Pittsburgh opens up, and if Dallas opens up, and the Chargers open up, they got the quarterback, all this, everything else, and meanwhile, Washington and Atlanta are like, okay, well, we're over here if you need us. It's just different.
And here's the thing: if you're a coach, Washington picks second, so you'll get the quarterback. You can get one of the 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft, and then. Atlanta's 8th right after the Titans, but there's you can maneuver if you want to. I agree. I think like Washington has a lot of needs. I mean, they need a tackle, they need an edge rusher.
That's fun. Come in, let's build this
Montez
together.
Sweat and Chase Young. Yeah. So I think that could be, but Slowick makes sense there too because of the GM they just hired from San Francisco. So I mean, there's certainly that connection, but that's why I feel like Belichick. I keep going back to Belichick in Atlanta. That just seems to fit. You know, good established owner and Arthur Blank that he can have a relationship with, like he did with Bob Kraft. Blank will stay out of his way. You know, maybe he doesn't have the same amount of control that he had in New England, but he'll have a good amount and can do his thing for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean,
you got to find the quarterback though. That's the and look, that was the problem with Arthur Smith. He never had the quarterback. Like the team around him, like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, I think they've been underutilized. That's talent right there. But if you don't have the right quarterback, those aren't two guys that are talented enough to make the quarterback better. You got to have the quarterback to go with them.
Do you want? I mean, I'm reading all this about Caleb Williams and all the demands he's got.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. I'd want Drake May. I have been on the Drake May bandwagon for 2 years now.
I mean,
I would take Drake May over him.
Right. If you draft Caleb Williams, you got to draft his mom too. I mean, is that what?
Basically, yeah.
Is that going to be part of that deal? I mean, what the audacity and the stones to ask. The rumor was, Chicago going to trade out because we don't want to go to Chicago if they trade Justin Fields. I mean, why would you want that problem from day one? I don't understand that. And this whole, he's a generational talent. You know who else was a generational talent that they just went on and on about? Ryan Leaf.
Yep.
In 1998, the discussion about, would the Colts take Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning? Let's flip a coin here because, Peyton's great, but Ryan Leaf, man, he's a generation. Just stop with all that. And you know how I feel about the combine and evaluation and everything else that goes on. But this Caleb Williams thing, he's not there are no more generational talents. You know who else was generational talent? Jamarcus Russell. How well did he do?
Yeah. I mean, look, there are plenty of examples. Vince Young, some people viewed as a generational talent.
Yeah,
we know how that turned
right.
out.
And so it's the right fit with the right coach and the right team. It makes it all come together. And you got to want the desire. That story about Brady when he got drafted, he met Robert Kraft for the first time, and what Kraft's like, I believe you're our new draft quarterback, and Brady's like, yeah, you're going to remember my name. That's the best draft pick you've ever had is me. Enjoy the confidence.
And he was right.
Yeah, but humble in your approach with that. But to go in ahead of time and say, I want this, this, and this. If you draft me, pass. Goodbye.
Look, you're going to see more of that with the way college football and college sports are now with, the NIL and transfers and all that stuff. You're going to see more and more of that. Just get ready. It's just the beginning. And it sucks, but that's the way it's going to be. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get you celebrity birthdays and put a bow on things. Tune in tomorrow night to 1025 The Game for Vanderbilt men's basketball. Commodores take on Auburn at home. Tip-off at 8 with the pregame beginning at 7:30. Coverage is also available on the 1025 The Game app. and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game, and this is very appropriate. You know what this is, Joe?
It is a song that Nick's
Joe?
playing off of YouTube. I don't know.
That's right. So it's Rick Derringer singing Real American, which was Hulk Hogan's theme song. Do you know why I wanted him to play this?
I don't know.
Did you see this story? Did you see this story of down in Florida, a teen flipped his car, and Hulk Hogan happened to be driving by, stopped, pulled him out of the car. This
No.
happened, I guess, a day or so ago.
Is there video of it?
It's crazy. Like, there's pictures. So Hulk Hogan's wife, Sky Daly, posted about the crash, writing, "Last night after we left dinner in Tampa, we saw a car flipped in front of us. I truly admire my husband and our good buddy for springing into action, puncturing the girl's airbag and getting her quickly out of the car.
Nice.
By all appearances, she was unscathed, just really rattled. It was an absolute miracle." But can you imagine, like, you're in this horrible incident, flip your car, and then all of a sudden you see Hulk Hogan pulling you out of the car?
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of
Amazing.
surreal. But I'll take whomever, though, pulling me out of the car for that situation. But
Well, yeah, of course, but and he's wearing the NWO shirt. That's the best part. Like,
Is he
he's in
really?
wrestling like attire.
oh,
yeah.
that's fantastic. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So
it
Hulk Hogan.
Everybody okay?
That's what. Yeah, according to what I'm reading, everybody was good.
Are you on
But,
like a 4-second delay?
just unreal? I don't know. I wasn't.
I'm hearing myself in your background. Hello, Chase.
Oh,
Chase.
well, I had the
Chase.
speakers
Chase.
on. Sorry, that's my bad. That's my. Is that better now?
I don't know. I like hearing myself through the radio, through your speakers, back to the radio to myself. I enjoyed that. Hello. Pinch hitting
Well, good.
for
Hello,
Pedro
hello,
Bourbon. Pedro Bourbon, Manny Moto. Echo,
All right,
echo.
let's get to celebrity birthdays.
All right. We got chaos here, but we're good, though. We love it. All right. Hope everybody's staying safe out there today while Chase, you should know better than that. We've lost Chase.
What?
Okay, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Having your speakers up. I love when people
Nothing
call in.
has changed. I don't know what's going on.
I love when people call in. They're listening to us on the radio, and there's that delay. So you hear your question, then you hear the question again. And all right, here we go, Chase. All right, celebrity birthdays brought to you by Possibly You. Chase?
Indeed.
No.
Together at CromwellMedia.com.
Come on, let's do it again. Celebrity birthdays brought to you by
Possibly you.
Oh.
Together at CromwellMedia.com.
There we go. All right, first birthday today. He directed Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, John Carpenter. How old is John Carpenter today? By the way, Starman, half of it was filmed here in Nashville with Jeff Bridges.
79.
84.
76. Next up is actress, dancer Debbie Allen. She's married to a former L.A. Laker legend. Bonus points if you know that.
Didn't she used to host Talk of the Town?
Another Debbie Allen did, yes.
Yeah, I know. 61.
67.
74. Guys are close on that today. Let's see who this is. Don't know who that is. Model Kate Moss.
38.
That's what I was going to say. 32.
50. Guys. The guy who did Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda. How old is the guy that did Hamilton? Or that created Hamilton? How old's that guy?
44.
Not sure who did it, but we're going to go 55.
44 exactly. Chaser knows his Broadway guys. All right, here we are for you today. Country singer Ronnie Millsap.
Oh, wow. Ronnie Millsap, I'm going to say, is 84.
91.
81. He doesn't like spiders and snakes. How old is country singer Jim Stafford? Great song back in the day. I don't like spiders and snakes. Jim Stafford.
78.
82.
He's 80. That's a push. Singer Sade, who is just fantastic.
48.
53.
65.
Last one here, Joe.
Radio host, gosh, man.
Nice.
Dr. Laura Schlesinger. How old is she?
Dr. Laura. 66.
72.
77. Chase, you win 1-0. Good job, buddy.
Nice.
Well done.
That will do it for us. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace coming up next.
Yes, it is. As we tell you every morning as we sign off our show, if you're a guy out there struggling, listen, man, know that there's help. Know that we love you. Call 988 on your cell phone. I know some tough times out there, but let you also know that our world is a better place because you are here and you are loved. Reach out and talk to anyone. You can talk to us. We're here for you. Just know that you have a purpose on this earth, that God put you here for a reason, and know that we love you.
Amen to that. We're back at it tomorrow at 9, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.